6 reasons why people will never get rich. Let's learn.
I love that intro track. It never gets old. It never gets old.
What a topic you've chosen this morning. Wow.
I know. It got you excited off camera, and I love that. I love when I get you going. So here we are. Good morning, by the way.
Good morning, everyone. How is everyone this morning? Bit of rain last night, but hopefully it's a dry day today.
Believe it or not, we had a little bit of a stint. It was about, I think, like a good 5-10 minute pour. But here we are, Saturday.
I was a bit worried. Yeah, I was a bit worried. I was like, oh, no, is this the rain's back?
every time we've got to make sure we've got the paddle boat ready. But, well, this morning's topic, I thought, and this is me, doing a bit of research, looking at what's going on online. What are people talking about these days? And it's really interesting when you can see a topic like this pop up. And it's 6 reasons why most people never get rich. And I've been as organized this morning as using this is like my little Bible. We at the office have a much bigger Bible, which is the big green book we all scribble things on. This is the one that I jot down my crucial notes in when they come to me. So like a Bible, I'll be holding it like so. Okay. Number 1 for you, Marky Mark. Most people will wait too long to start. And we're going to translate this over between any form of investment, any form of, even it would translate even to property. But looking at that one there, what do you reckon? Let's start.
I reckon every 10 years it becomes twice as hard because you've waited too long to start. That's definitely the case with property, that it's double the price every 10 years. So, if you're waiting, it's 5 years, and it's 50% harder than what it would have been. So I think pegging it, starting it, and even if you're starting it not as serious as you want to start it, just start it. So if you're starting the gym, it doesn't, jogging or running, it doesn't mean you have to do that 5-kilometer sprint, but it's like, just do that 500 meter, just do that 1 kilometer, do it 5 days a week, start. And property's the same thing. Start.
Yeah. And look, this is me being open and transparent. I'm kind of like that as a person. I don't like to hide behind anything. I'm 29 going on to 30. I heard it when I was 25. I heard it when I was 20. I heard it when I was 18. Get into the property market. And, you become a little bit stubborn, a little bit ignorant, and you think, I'll get there. I'll save up the money required for a deposit and it'll happen. And then it doesn't. And the years keep passing by and you see the spike in prices that we've seen. It's absolutely astronomical, but then there are some very smart individuals and, working beside him is great. Billy Drury in our office, 18-year-old kid, who I got to stop saying he's a kid because he's a bloody adult in his mind. He's
an old man in a young man's body.
Yeah, I think so. And he's the one that's taken the leap of faith in that department there, and he's done it. And it's admirable. You look at that and you go, wow, if he can do it, I'm sure a lot of other people can. But back to
even if he does nothing more in 10 years, it's just a phenomenal start to building wealth.
Absolutely. And that's good. Well,
anyone who's watching, if you've got anything to add, any questions, I'd love to hear. Next one.
Excellent. Number 2 from my lovely brown Bible here is fear stops them. Fear stops people. And I think that is, of the 6 that we'll read, I think that is one of the most crucial ones. Let's elaborate on that one.
I think fear stops them is also, which you wouldn't think so, but I think thinking too much is fear, is inside of fear stops you. So I think, all of the tentacles attached to fear, and there's lots of them. There's, that failure What if it doesn't work? What if it's worth worse, less? What if it's the top of the market with property? What if I lose my job? That what if and those fears. What a killer! What a killer!
Absolutely. And I think in the climate that we've been in the past couple of years, I think it's fears definitely somewhat ingrained in a little bit of all of us, like it's especially in the job element, the job perspective, it's if you want to have wealth, you want to grow wealth, and you don't have steady income,
yep.
you almost say to yourself, oh, well, you know what? Well, no, I can't. And a lot of the time as well, I think the stories that you hear about from people, no one's going to be blabbing on about how well they're bloody doing. A lot of the times people will tell you the bad stuff. They'll give you the bad news first before they give you the good news. And I think that's
which you can unfortunately be exposed to, like radiation, and feed off.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And so when that happens, fear grows. And then your potential for wealth declines. Now,
and that's why choosing the people that you're exposed to is really important. And I do have to note this morning that rich doesn't mean dollars. It can mean dollars. You can be rich in health. You can be rich in family. You can be rich in great friends. You can be rich in personality. You can be rich in money. So I don't want to sound like we're just talking about money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
I like that. It's good that you've brought that up. Number three is an interesting one. It's waiting until you think you know enough. And I think a lot of the time, and it draws back to, the relationships that you have, the people that you formulate relationships with, is the information that you gather, what you would try and understand it all, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, do you know what? I'm not confident enough yet in what I know. I'll leave it. I'll let it drag out. What do you think about that?
Billy's a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
What the hell did he know at 18 about buying a property and actually buying a property? Just did it.
Yeah, exactly right. And he, like I said before, he's took a leap of faith, and he's done extremely well, and he'll continue to do extremely well. Number 4 is an interesting one here, is focusing on your linear income instead of passive income. And what I mean by that with number 4 is linear income, the money that you earn going to work, you get paid by the hour, you get paid, 8 hours a day. That's your money coming in,
Yeah.
That's going to work. That's you applying yourself. That's waking up every day and putting yourself in that position. Whereas passive income, it doesn't matter if you go to work or not, and let's talk about it in the monetary sense, that money is coming in, it's feeding through. Or if we're talking about, as far as externally, aside from money, it's the knowledge, it's the growth, the natural growth is happening without you having to apply yourself so rigorously into it. What do you think?
It's like planting a seed, and it just grows without you being there. And I think we need the linear. We need that linear stream that comes in, and it comes in. It always comes in. It generally comes in when you start at 18 and when you retire at 70. But what happens after that, or what happens during that's really important. Warren Buffett is a big advocate of passive income, and he's a big advocate of watching that propel and grow and exponentially. And I think it's really important. So, as an example, when we use a property, in 10 years, the exposure to the debt's very small, and the rent has generally grown. And after 10 or 20 years, the thing can be paid off. And that is what we're talking about, linear income compared to passive income. You've just built a passive income. Not only is it passive income with rent, but the thing's doubled in 10 years, and it's doubled again in 20 years. That is passive income.
Yeah. And for guys, if anyone that's just joined in now, because I can see the numbers, they've gone from 4 to 7, so we've got people joining in. We've got people asking questions, which is great. Ask advice from mentors. Jess, that is spot on. I think it's definitely one of the things that you want to do, regardless, whether it be property, whether it be stock investment, could be absolutely anything. It's seeking the right people to have those conversations with. And I'm moving a little bit slow. Did you hear that? Yeah.
The right people. Make sure they've got what you want. Make sure they've got the richest you want in family, or the richest you want in art, or the richest you want in property when you get the advice from those people.
Exactly. And I think if it's something like, you wanting to purchase a property for in this example that we're going to use here, you're not going to go speak to someone that doesn't have a property. Yes, they may be knowledgeable in that field, but want something. And because it's and whether it be a commercial property, whether it be a residential property, there is still such an emotional attachment that goes and an involvement with those processes, So those people that have drawn that experience will be able to tell you. So that's definitely a big key thing there. I love seeing the numbers jump. People are jumping in and out of this video. It's great to see. Thank you everyone for joining this morning, by the way. Now let's go on to number 5. Not using the right systems, or not using systems for making money in this example here. Let's elaborate on that one a little bit. What do you think, Mark?
I think it's interesting, and if I can use it with an immigrant that comes to DY in the Northern Beaches, I'm Serbian background, and I'm pretty proud of this example. So an immigrant comes to DY, buys a 1-bedroom unit, lives in it, does really, really well. He doesn't sell the 1-bedroom unit, but he buys a 2-bedroom unit and he rents out the 1-bedroom unit. He's got his small family in there, married, little family in a 2-bedroom unit, does well. Maybe 10 or 15 years have passed and he decides he's going to get into a house with a granny flat. Granny flat's rented, lives in the house, has the 2-bedroom unit rented, has the 1-bedroom unit rented. This guy has built a machine, a system, and has built passive income. It's got 3 passive incomes coming in, 3 property values going up, and he changes the formula.
That's interesting.
I see him walking in the street, and I say, "How are you?" He says, "Good." He said, "I've just bought a property in Adelaide." And I'm like, you had the perfect system. The perfect system. Just because you got bucket loads now, it doesn't mean you change the system. And people do it with marriage. People do it, with properties. They change the system that serves them well. Be careful.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit of confidence and a sprinkle of arrogance when that starts to happen, I think. But when a system works and it works as well as that, goodness me, you don't want to change it. And what's incredible is if you walk down the street and you ask someone like that, they don't look like someone. They're not dressed to impress, but these are the people that have created systems that are so smart. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable.
You've developed a system of going to the gym.
Yeah.
As an example, and people change a system. And I've got to say, I call it walking the grey line. It is very hard to walk the grey line. It is very mundane. It can be very boring, but you've got to spice it up. You've got to make it fun, but you don't have to burn the bridge. So keep the system going. Walk the grey line. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, walk the grey line. Keep the system going.
Love it.
That's all the properties.
And 6, from my lovely brown Bible over here, not being patient. And let me draw on, and you mentioned him before, Warren Buffett. This is a quote. This is a quote.
Here comes my favorite quote of all time. Here it is. Here it comes. This is it. Warren Buffett, you legend. What a quote.
Let's do it. It goes, wealth is the transfer of money from the impatient to the patient. Boom. Right there.
Boom. Boom.
Boom. Every day of the week.
Boom.
It's fantastic.
I reckon we can finish off right there. That is the grower. And do you know what else? That what you've just spoken about, when it talks about money, I think that's also can translate to a lot of other aspects like family, that patience, that walking the grey line, those systems that you spoke about, those planting the seeds that you've spoken about, all of those things can compound into that one quote. strip away the rich, or rich, money, and add the word rich, and health, family, all those things. What a topic today that you've chosen. What a topic today. Can we wind out and conclude and summarising those points before we go?
Absolutely. So one was most people wait too long to start. That was number 1. 2, fear stops them. Fear stops people. 3, waiting until they know enough. 4, focusing on your linear income, so your everyday income, going to work instead of passive income, the income you make when you're not having to actively go for it. And 5,
property.
Not using systems for making money or straying away from the systems that you've implemented that have been working for so many years. And then number 6.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. I feel like I'm holding this. Yeah. That's how I feel like. And number 6 is not being patient and drawing on from your favorite quote from Warren Buffett. Massive. Love it. Oh, I hope I haven't lost you, Mark.
She says, I hope I'm not boring and mundane part. Do you know what?
That's highly doubt it.
I've got to be very careful what I'm saying here about my wife.
I think so. Tread carefully. Walk that grey line.
I've got to be very careful. But it's really my responsibility, not Lisa's, to make sure that even though you're 22 years together, 23 years together, whatever that is, you keep it, you add your different herbs and spices and you keep it going. You keep it going. And also, Lisa Kramer, good morning, watching on LinkedIn. Good morning. Great advice, guys. Hope we've helped everyone. And you know what? I think we've all had these pieces of advice given to us over the years, but it's just doing it, man. It's just doing it.
Doing it and then just doing it again.
Yep. It's not easy.
No. Thank you so much for this morning.
Thanks, legend. Today is one of the best shows I've ever done, and thank you for the topic. And it really falls close to my heart. All of these things that we've spoken about today.
Brilliant. Father Nathan signing out.
Thanks, Nate. See you, buddy. Bye.